Good day, Mr. Anthony Gamale. I am Eugene Dion, taking a criminology second year. So this is my video representation in about 20 minutes. My topic is all about the Filipino core values, chapter 4. So before we proceed, let's all we know the learning objectives of the Filipino core values of this chapter 4. So this chapter, it helps us recognize and relate Filipino values, its structures, models, philosophical foundations, and elements. So before we proceed to the Filipino core values, let's also know the basic concept of values. So core values are a person or organization's fundamental beliefs. These guiding principles dictate conduct and can assist individual to know the distinction between right and wrong. It is also assist organization by establishing an unwavering guide to determine if they are on the correct task and fulfill their objectives. Values are essential because they assist us to grow, they assist us build the future that we want to experience in our generation. So in hundred of choices are made every day by every person, every organization. The choices we make are reflect our values and belief that are always aimed at a particular purpose. That aim is our person and collective organizational needs to be satisfied. When we make choices using our values, we create a cons- conscious, conscious rather, conscious decision to concrete on what matters to us. They create inner cohesion within a group when values are shared. Next is Filipino value system. A race trains and cultural components such as ETA have derived Filipino values. So on our first to our cultural components, the first the first that strains our values is ETA. Indonesian, Malayan, Hindu, and Chinese who created our moral sculptures core. Cultural individuality combined with Spain derived cultural components. The US and the contemporary planetary society have rejoiced at the sign of other co-Filipinos when we're in a foreign nation as if there's something that connect us. Sometimes if we don't know a person's as our nationality but he or she look like a Filipino. Sometimes we encounter that on our on our society. We often ask Filipino ka ba? And we are happy when he or she answered yes. Of course, we're Filipino. However, if someone fails to satisfy our expectation in the manner they answered question or in the manner they act, we say frustration, kapwa Filipino pa naman. So Handa Jocano, a famous sociologist, says that there is no negative Filipino values. There are no negative Filipino values. Only the only wrong use of values. So there are no negative Filipino values. It's our own wrong perspective to know that values or to our values or to reject it, to reject. So values slowly alter, but it depends on how powerful families are to preserve, promote, and pass on our cultural values from one generation to the next. Here in the Philippines, values are really of importance and should be respected. As we grow older, our parents shape us different values. From the time we are born, sometimes we are born or sometimes we care or pagkalinga, pag-aaruga at pakikialam, care. Care when we are babies through our adulthood. We're given by them. This value shape our real Filipino culture, showing that we are conscious of others. We have care to our Filipino culture. The Filipino value system relates to the set of values or the value system that has historically been held by a majority of Filipinos in their life. This system of Filipino values involves the distinct combination of coherent ideologies, moral values, and ethical procedures, cultural etiquette, and private values promoted by the Filipino society. Next is philosophical foundation of Filipino values. For the most part, Filipino values are focused on preserving social harmony, mainly driven by the group's willingness to be accepted. The primary sanction against the diverging from these values are hiya, or the sense of shame, and a more proper or self-esteem, social approval, group recognition, and group membership are significant issues. Caring for what others believe, say, or do is a powerful influence of Filipino social behavior. So next is we have a models of the Filipino values. First is exogenous model or a foreign model. A legal and formal model is defined as international model. Filipinos from Western culture, particularly from a Spaniard and the Americans. So foreign models. These are foreign models by the Filipino values. So next is indigenous model or the traditional model. This described as our tradition. Described as a tradition, a non-formal model or guide. The indigenous model is deeply integrated in Filipino subconscious. So this indigenous model or a transnational model is a traditional model and non-formal. When we say traditional and non-formal, this is an old model of our Filipino culture. So structures and elements of Filipino values. The Filipino value system is known to possess significant key component based on research, surveys, observations, and anecdotes to other literatures, develop observation and scholars and researchers in relation to Filipino social values and core values, together with the Filipino character or identity of the person or individual known as the Filipino. So let's proceed to the five core Filipino values. So based on Dr. Ramirez's study of Filipino worldview of values and her perspective as the phenomenological sociologist from cultures of practice, here are the 5 core values of based on the Filipino basic aspiration. So the core Filipino values, first is magpasalamat. Magpasalamat, this is based on the aspiration of Filipinos to pamumuhay or life and pananalig sa Diyos at kapwa, God and people faith. Filipinos understand how life can be enjoyed. We have plenty of vacation, celebration, occasion, and meeting. Filipinos are cheerful of sociable of course. Even in decreasing circumstances, we wear smile in our face that because we always looking at life bright side. So as we can see to our our Filipinos, many different problems, but still smile to conquer the circumstances. Next is matatag. Filipinos being a nation susceptible to natural disaster have adjusted and learned to be powerful in moment and needs to difficult circumstances in life through at us. So this is based on Filipino kaayusan order aspiration. In reality, the popular praise of Filipino is ayos na. Kahit nasasaktan, ayos lang, patuloy na lumalaban. We Filipinos are longer for kaayusan, and we will endure all be powerful in minds and hardship and challenges until we overcome the barriers. So, powerful in our minds. In our minds, we think that we are powerful, but in our challenging, we sometimes we weak, but it is hard to encounter that circumstances, but still fight for victory, of our challenges. We have to challenge the circumstances to gain our goal. So next is masigasig. We do everything we can to get it win Filipino dream or something. So masigasig is based on kasaganaan, abundance, and ginhawa relief. Aspiration of Filipinos not for himself but for his family. A Filipino aspire of abundance, masaganag bagong taon. Bounty na New Year of Philippine translation to Happy New Year because he much happiness and celebration with abundance. So ginhawa in Bisaya, implied breath, and the soft breath flows in soft life flow we call ginhawa. Is the feeling of well-being in a Filipino. According to the late theologian Dr. Jose de Mesa, overseas Filipino workers OFWs would be an instant of enduring being away from home to offer their families a healthy life, abundance, and relief from hardship. So kahit anong hirap ang pagdaanan, basta mapanatiling maayos ang lagay ng kaniyang pamilya, patuloy na lumalaban ang isang tao para lang sa pamilya or to give a ginhawa to her family. So next is mapagmalasakit. All know that we're Filipino have a mapagmalasakit. So it is because of our family love extended to friends, neighbors, and other that naturally sympathetic without in exchange asking for anything. This is based on aspiration Filipinos to loob at damdamin at kapwa other people. Loob, it is set of dignity of the Filipinos or Philippines. Filipinos' personality is expressed in his kalooban. Filipinos tune in this kalooban of each by other by checking the situation of other and talking about the life of each other. Mapagmalasakit kahit na yung walang-wala ka na pero patuloy ka pa ring nagmalasakit sa iyong kapwa. That this is how Filipino was, mapagmalasakit. So next is magalang. The use of po, opo at pagmamano is based on our how Filipino praise to our culture and values. We are respect and love to elderly, and Filipino respect not just to limited elderly but also to other people's properties, emotions, and ideas. We are polite people, bias. So, for example of this praise are kapatid, brother, sister, or asawa, husband, wife, or biyanan, father-in-law, mother-in-law, or anak, son, daughter, does not show gender differences. These words are certainly sex-friendly Filipinos uniquely for respect for other people for integral part of the culture of our language. This is based on lakas ng loob or kagandahang loob aspiration. So pagbibigay galang sa ating nakakatanda is our culture as a Filipino. So before we so as we know that we have a different core values in our community, society, and our country. But this next is the Philippine National Police core values. So as now we are a criminology. So later on that we can proceed to our goal is to become a police, Philippine National Police. So let's should know the police core values. So the members of the Philippine National Police must therefore conform to the internalize the key principle of love of God, respect for authority, respect for women, respect for sanctity of marriage, stewardship of other material things, responsible dominion, and truthfulness. The police service is the police. Philippine is expressed by acronym service. The acronym service stands for first is servant of God. A police affirm its unconditional service and love for the nation and individual. Police value and supportive of professional rules serves and protects its clientele and community with honesty, utmost devotion and commitment above private concern. So next is excellent. Police are committing in doing and making things occur effectively and efficiently in all of their efforts as they strive to accomplish more consequently and outstanding with tangible outcome and far beyond their best of their duty is called for us to excellence. Next is responsibility with accountability. Police carry out the execute the responsibility and task of their moral duty is to serve the public with due diligence and always bearing in mind that they are accountable and duty bound to promote the public interest. So next is valuing people and respect for human rights. Police always maintain their fellows human being dignity whenever they cater their needs and their delicate and cautions in serving and protecting them with compassion and almost regards for their human rights. Next is integrity, the most common of the police. Police take an uncompromising and coherent position in their fulfillment of their obligation to live an honest, upright, and dignified life according to the highest ethical and moral norms, where their advocacy, values, and convictions are compatible with their words and action. So, courage. Next is courage. From their moral strength, police draw their collective and individual's power of approach to always accept the difficult duties as they are courageous enough to speak out against temptation, anomalies, corruption, and exploitation and stand firm. We have to take courage for our cleanliness to our names and our respective as a police to our organization. So next is empowerment. Police reach out to create bridge and collaboratively nurture volunteerism and operate in harmony with their cliently by training individuals for a better, safer society in our process. So empowerment, we have to empower them to be strong, to conquer the society and the process for our next next police officers someday. So that would be all, sir. Thank you and God bless.